The year is 2036. You roll out of bed and look outside. The sky is still gray through creaking blinds and foggy windows. You warm up leftovers as you listen to people on the news talk about things you have no part of. You're alone. There's this clock on the wall moving silently as the minutes pass, and on your desk, a calendar with red X's that crossed out the days of the past 10 years. The days that flew by like they were nothing because life was stripped down to a blur. And what did you do about it? You see, I was asked to imagine the future. They said 10 years from now, what will the world be like? And I said, oh no. Oh, no, I don't really think about the future. Sure, maybe what classes I want to take, what university I want to go to, but not the future. Letters big and bold, like it has something to say. So, I tried thinking about it. What if in 10 years the world continues to doom itself, the sky is dying, the trees are gone, or we're so far ahead, curing cancer, there's flying cars, all of these ideas tucked into this box labeled the future. But none of them felt right. None of them looked me in the eye and said, this is it. The future is often seen as scary. So I thought, what am I afraid of? I imagined just one person sitting alone in the dark, looking out the window and having nothing but missed opportunities stare back at them. A person full of regrets and what-ifs who didn't notice that time was slipping through their hands, who didn't realize that time was precious until it was gone. This person scares me. See, a lot of us see change as this big monster in the shadows waiting to pounce. And good or bad, the idea of change is scary. There's this certain type of change, not the loud, sudden ones. These types of changes are quiet. They happen slowly, and you don't even realize it. You see, change in general is scary, but these types of changes, I think they're downright terrifying. More often than not, there won't be a tragedy or a heroic tale, just something that sneaks up on you. Slowly but surely, until suddenly 10 years have passed and you don't know where it went. This idea that you can wait, it's okay, you have time, when in reality, it goes like that. Now, I'm sure we're all somewhat familiar with this on a much smaller scale, of course. Fancy word, starts with a P, ends with, holy cow, my assignment's due tomorrow and I've written 2 words. Ladies and gentlemen, our good friend, procrastination. I know it, you know it, that getting a project that's due in 2 weeks, plenty of time, but you forget about it until the night before and you have to convince your English teacher that your half-written thesis is actually a really deep metaphor about something. Totally and not a last-ditch attempt to save your average. But it's the same idea. This blind eye, almost negligence. You don't need to yet, so why would you now? It's the same idea, except it's not days and weeks in a school project, it's 10 years. 10 years of your life that you only get to live once. Now, I'm only 15. 10 years ago, I was in JKSK learning to tie my shoes and sing the alphabet. My idea of the future was watching the big kids, and by big kids, I mean the 6-year-olds, finally be ready to leave the kindergarten gate and move to the schoolyard. Oh my goodness, I'd watch them walk out that gate and I'd think, that is so cool. That's gonna be me one day. That is the future. So 10 years is a pretty long time, especially when you're young. So many things have changed since then, but I never felt it. I just looked back one day and suddenly I'm 3 feet taller than I used to be. It's the startling reminder that time doesn't wait for anyone. Recent generations have become a lot more relaxed. For a lot of people, the idea of a future is more guaranteed than it would have been about a century ago, and that's great. But it's also turned into this passiveness, sucked into our own minds and devices, slowly becoming less and less aware of the world around us. Sometimes I have these days where I'll wake up late. I'll take a long time to get ready. I'll space out my routine with little gaps of nothingness. I'll sit down, I'll scroll on my phone, I'll look at this pile of work that I will do, and I will do it. I will. Just not right now. And then suddenly I blink and the day is done. What? The day is done, and I spent it doing nothing. Well, not literally nothing, mind you, but my actions were empty. My head was thoughtless. I was on autopilot, if you will. And at the end of the day, there's this gnawing sense of grief and shame because I had the day. It was mine. But I didn't use it to work. I didn't even use it to relax. I didn't live through it. It just, poof, right through my fingers. Time is such a funny thing. How does something so expansive, so vast, disappear right before our very eyes? Infinite, yet finite. Commodity of time. Now, I haven't been alive for very long, but I've been alive long enough to know that this is not the type of life I want for myself. I don't want to be that person in the dark, full of regrets, what ifs, and missed opportunities. I don't want to watch life slip through my hands. I want to live it. I don't want to just be alive. I want to feel alive every second. And you know what? It's probably going to suck. It's probably going to be hard, and there's probably going to be days that I just wish I could cross out. That'd be so much easier if they just slipped by me. But at the end of it all, I think it's so worth it. So worth it to live life unforgivingly, the good and the bad, to be present enough today so that we have a future that we love tomorrow. So that in 10 years' time, I look back and I am proud. I'm proud of who I was. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of what I've done. I am proud. So here's a reminder. Not a threat or a warning, mind you, just a reminder. A reminder I could have used during some of those days. A reminder to get up. Look around you. There are opportunities, big and small, in every corner, so find them. Make them. Don't let it pass in a blink, a fever dream of a life. Time is a commodity, and it goes much too quickly for us to just ignore it. We're only ever here for so long. So let's make it count. Year is 2026. You're sitting there watching this girl on stage stand on a big red dot, talk about the future. You go home to the sky above you, the walls around you, there's this clock ticking silently as the minutes pass, and on your desk, an empty calendar. What are you going to do about it? Thank you.